With the NFL preseason over, the New Orleans Saints and the rest of the NFL had to make their roster cuts and get their initial 53-man roster. And that leaves the question of, who is the Saints' backup quarterback behind Derek Carr? And when head coach Dennis Allen was asked about it, he gave a very underwhelming answer.
How do you handle the backup quarterback situation going forward, like such a unique young room? Like, do you tell them there's a 2 and 3, or is it still?
Yeah, look,
This backup quarterback job and battle between Jake Haener and Spencer Rattler by far has been the best and most entertaining part of the whole offseason, preseason training camp, without a doubt, for the Saints. The battles between both of them have been back and forth, and one guy shows out, then the other guy shows up the next day. It really has been an honor to watch this battle go through. And this battle was so close that it ended up coming down to the preseason games, all 3 to decide the winner. Obviously, there's no surprise here, but this is what Dennis Allen predicted a few weeks ago before the preseason, when he said they're trying to evaluate if they have a backup quarterback on the roster right now. It's going to take a preseason game and some performances to see and evaluate who the backup guy is. And what made this battle so much better is that both these guys are younger and neither of them really had an advantage. Yeah, Jake Haener has a year of experience, but they're both in a new system. Both of them are in this new coaching staff. There's really no advantages here. It's not like Jake Haener was a first-round pick and Rattler was a 5th. Like, no, they are both selected on the same day. Round 4, round 5, basically within the same-ish range. Both the young guys, neither of them had really the edge or a huge favorite to win. It was really back and forth in neck and neck. Now, I will say though, Jake Haener probably did have a little bit of an advantage because he got to spend quite a bit of time this offseason and during the regular season working and watching film with Hall of Fame head coach John Gruden, working on his footwork, going over film, going over reads, how to be better, throwing motion, stuff like that. And during camp, you definitely saw that Jake Haener wasn't going to back down and let the rookie come in and take his job. But Rattler also wasn't going to let Jake Haener just take the show. To me, Jake Haener looked more polished and secure and comfortable, while Spencer Rattler needed a little bit of time to get polished, but he definitely has more talent, more upside, and in my opinion, has more opportunities and chances to be the starting quarterback in the NFL at some point. And it was important that both these guys performed pretty good in the preseason and in camp because, well, they didn't have an experienced backup quarterback, a guy who's ever started a game, a guy who knows how to play in the NFL, because Jameis Winston left and signed with the Cleveland Browns to back up Deshaun Watson, and the Saints had an opportunity to sign, a veteran backup, but they didn't. They let Jake Haener and Spencer Rattler, 2 young guys, battle it out. And I thought initially that they were going to sign a backup quarterback, possibly Sam Darnold or something, but even the market for backup quarterbacks was expensive, and given the fact that the Saints spent all offseason saving money, building towards the future, cleaning up the cap, and getting younger, it made 100% more sense that they were going to let Haener and Spencer Rattler battle it out. And when it came to the preseason, I'd say both of them actually looked pretty good. In the first preseason game, Jake Haener threw for over 100 yards, had a beautiful deep pass to A.T. Perry, but I will say he did struggle for a while and wasn't able to lead any touchdown drives, where Spencer Rattler, on his first NFL drive ever, he led a touchdown drive that he scored himself, maneuvering in and out of the pocket, and ran in for a touchdown. Then at the end of the game, led a game-winning drive, got the Saints in field goal range and position, did his job. Then the kicker made the kick. And to me, I thought Spencer Rattler had a much better performance than Jake Haener. Even though stat-wise, it says Haener was better, when you watch the game, Rattler most certainly performed better. Then in the second preseason game versus the San Francisco 49ers, it got pretty ugly for both of them. Neither of these guys looked good. It was hard for them to complete passes, go through reads. Rattler had a turnover. Jake Haener wasn't really able to do anything. He almost had a fumble and almost threw an interception. Neither of these guys looked good. And if either of them wanted to take the job, that was the week to do it, and neither of them took advantage of the opportunity. And I would also like to mention Jake Haener had the opportunity, like Spencer Rattler, to lead a game-winning drive, but he was incapable of doing so. Threw a pretty bad ball to A.T. Perry in the end zone, looked uncatchable, didn't allow A.T. Perry to make a play on it, and that definitely hurt his stock in the quarterback 2 battle. Then week 3, the battle for the backup spot came down to the 3rd preseason game versus the Titans in the Superdome. Initially, I thought it was going to be a first half for Haener, second half for Rattler, but no. Dennis Allen had them switching off each quarter. That way they got to play with the same offensive linemen, the same receivers, play against the same defense to really evaluate how they actually looked playing with the same players against the same competition. And to me, it seemed pretty clear that Spencer Rattler won the job. Jake Haener was incapable of leading the Saints downfield, struggled to make throws at times, really was just a check down merchant just like Derek Carr. But then when you saw Spencer Rattler get in the game, it was a complete different energy and vibe to the Saints. He led them downfield, threw an absolute dime of a pass to Equinemius St. Brown for a touchdown. It was a perfect ball, probably the best pass of the whole preseason. Rattler threw for over 100 yards, Jake Haener was just under 100. And after this performance, it seemed pretty obvious who the backup quarterback should be between Spencer Rattler and Jake Haener. And not only just from this week, but from the whole preseason in general. Spencer Rattler led 13 drives while Jake Haener led 12. Spencer Rattler led 4 touchdown drives. Jake Haener led 0. Spencer Rattler led 3 field goal scoring drives. One of them was a game winner. Jake Haener led 3 field goal drives. One of them, they got the ball at the 20-yard line and they still couldn't score a touchdown. Now, I would like to mention Haener did have a pretty nice touchdown pass to A.T. Perry, but it was called back due to a holding penalty. Now, Jake Haener had way more yards. He had 270, while Spencer Rattler had 202. Both of them had a fumble. Spencer Rattler had more rushing yards and also a rushing touchdown. Everything dictated the stats, the drives, everything hinted that Spencer Rattler was the backup quarterback. And you even had Alontae Taylor on Twitter tagging Spencer Rattler saying, "Ya ass all over my feed, boy. You looked good running that offense." It seemed pretty clear that the players and fans were probably in agreement that Spencer Rattler should be QB2. Not only that, but when this was posted on Instagram, A.T. Perry liked the post. And in that post, it had Derek Carr whining. So things aren't looking good for Derek Carr, but are looking up for Spencer Rattler. But today, when Dennis Allen was asked about who won the backup quarterback job, he answered it without answering it, and it was very underwhelming.
How do you handle the backup quarterback situation going forward? Like such a unique young room. Like, do you tell them there's a 2 and 3, or is it still?
Yeah, look, they're still competing, and I really want that to be that way throughout the course of the season. That those guys are coming out here every day and they're competing. It's a healthy competition. I think both those guys have done well. I'm not in any way ready to make any sort of statement or comment or declaration, anything of that nature. We'll just let those guys keep coming out and working and practicing and getting better. And here's the deal. With both of those players, both of them, we've got to develop.
That's right, you heard Dennis Allen said it's still a competition between Jake Haener and Spencer Rattler. They're going to give reps to both and develop them both. Now, why didn't Dennis Allen just say the truth? Spencer Rattler is the backup quarterback. To me, I think he's trying to protect both Jake Haener and Derek Carr. He wants to develop Haener. Maybe he's shown some good flashes, but doesn't want to designate a winner. Doesn't want to also name Rattler as the second string quarterback, because the second Derek Carr does anything negative, guess what the fans are going to be chanting. Now, the depth chart isn't officially out yet at the timing of this recording. Maybe it's out tomorrow, but we definitely see who the backup quarterback is in the scenario that Derek Carr gets injured. But based off of what we've seen in the preseason, the reports in training camp, it should most certainly be Spencer Rattler. I don't know why Dennis Allen is so hesitant to name Spencer Rattler the winner of the battle, which to me is what you want. You want the rookie quarterback to come in and take that job and then eventually develop him to be a starting quarterback in the NFL. Let me know what you make of Dennis Allen's comments about the backup quarterback job. Subscribe to my channel, Cash Sports, for more daily NFL content. Have a good one. Peace.